Welcome back, all you Fabricans and Fleshbags, to the super, not funny show reviews. And today I'm reviewing The Equalizer Season 3, Episode 6, entitled A Time to Kill, coming to you from CBS streaming on Paramount Plus. So, what did I think about it? And should you be watching? Man, it's November and we're just now getting Episode 6 of The Equalizer. What's happening for real? This episode follows on. We were, last episode there was a CIA deal. Now it's time to get back to actually equalizing. In this case, it's trying to find out who sold a fentanyl laced ecstasy that killed a little girl. I guess a teenage girl. And who's this weird vigilante that's going around and offing these different drug dealers? And it's got you got Robyn in the sights of the police. It's crazy talk, right? Looks like Batman's got a copycat Batman, and they're not taking any prisoners. And this is this is very much one of those episodes where they call themselves wanting to be topical. Maybe this would have been more topical a few years ago, but the whole idea, people were talking about fentanyl being in Halloween candy and all this other mess. What's middle-aged white people? What are they scared of? Let's make an episode about that. And for whatever reason, they're suddenly scared about fentanyl. There, go figure. In this case, it is serious. It's there's these drug dealers, but what's more serious is that because Robyn's investigating, she sort of gets ID'd as a person of interest. And that makes it harder for her to get around. But thankfully, her boo thing, you know who we're talking about, Detective Dante, is there to sort of smooth things over. But I have to say, the police look kind of like Keystone Cops throughout this episode until they don't. It's like there's a bit of convenience in this episode with things. Like, for instance, Robyn is in the previous episode was dodging all sorts of like cartel stuff, and she was on top of everything like she was, James Bond. In this episode, random cops are just, completely able to just sneak up on her. Russian mafia goons can sort of just sneak up on her. It's so weird. And it's, like I said, narrative convenience as far as that goes. But I mean, it's cool stuff. But we like to see these sorts of things. We see her as she figures out. She and Harry and Mel, they sort of figure out, who this guy is, why is he doing what he's doing, what's his connection, everything. And, she has a bit of a run-in with him that doesn't quite work in her favor because, he's more than he seems. And, there's just a lot of her going around. It's weird because, Dante's like, well, they got a bolo on you. And I'm just like, you can't do a bolo on someone who looks like Queen Latifah in New York City. Like, all the police will be looking at, they'll stop stop and frisk every black woman they see. It's crazy talk. It sounds all dire and everything, but it's never quite dire enough to stop her from making moves. And so, it all leads to, this is called A Time to Kill. They very much are taking that, I don't want to call it justified, but semi-justified in the eyes of, vigilante justice of what the guy's going through and, taking out drug dealers. And, they were like, as Harry said, like, oh no, another drug dealer dead. That's terrible. But that's a kind of a messed up thing from Harry, who's normally pretty on the level. I mean, it's still a person. So to be judged during execution, it's a little messed up. And I like that Robyn was not interested in, she wasn't interested in facilitating this guy, partly because, it was kind of her on the hook for it, but also she didn't want him to go further down that rabbit hole. She wasn't trying to save, the Russian mobster's life. She's just trying to save the vigilante's life and kind of flushing it down the toilet, which to me made no sense because dude already killed a bunch of people. He's not going to not go to prison. But maybe she sort of saved him from a worse death sentence in prison. Who knows? But it all wraps up quite neatly and as expected, you know, with the sacrifice and all that stuff. Yeah, I mean, look, predictable, yes. Fun to watch, absolutely. That's the whole point, is that this is the sort of show that stuff is fun to watch. We also had the kind of the B plot which is Robyn sensing that Dee is hiding something, and Delilah, she absolutely is. She's going to get trained by Mel, and Aunt Vi doesn't know about it. Neither does Robyn, and Robyn thinks it may be drugs, so it sort of ties into her her main plot in this episode, but it's not. And it just kind of seeing the awkwardness between them now that there is an actual secret between them that's good. Hey, I like the way that this is going. Obviously, this all going to come to a head. And I also like that Aunt Vi she's being the voice of reason, but she did the trust but verify. She realized that Dee was sneaking out early in the morning, and she wanted to see where she was going, what she was doing. And once she realizes what's going on, the question is, what is she going to do with that information? Because I think she knows and understands. She wanted to go get a gun because of the kidnapping. So I think she knows and understands why Delilah is doing what she's doing. But can she keep that a secret? And of course, I need to start doing a watch for Robyn and Dante when they're going to get together. We're going to start doing a countdown. How many days until they finally make that happen? Because I swear these writers, they know we all want to see it happen. We want to see that, make that love connection, and they just keep teasing it. And this week's tease is Dante finally shooting his shot and saying, you owe me one. Well, why don't you owe me one by going to dinner with me? And she sort of, but doesn't really commit to it. And so I'm like, man, y'all playing. You guys I'll keep doing it, but we're here for it. That's the thing, is they know we're here for it, so they're gonna keep on dangling in front of us, like a bit of yarn to cats. So I guess we'll have to deal with it. But man, just make it happen, y'all. Anyway, I like this episode. It's very fun, very enjoyable. It's a good, good solid episode for the show. So anyway, what do you guys think about it? I know, what do you think about what I had to say? Get down to the comment section. Leave your thoughts there. And, of course, you can always hit me up, supernotfunnyshow@gmail.com, or at supernotfunnys1 on Twitter. And do me a favor, get down there, hit that like button, subscribe, notification bell, all that stuff. Helps the channel, helps more people to see these videos. All right, all you Fabricans and Fleshbags, thanks for joining me. Come back next week for the very next episode, episode 7 of The Equalizer. Until then, I've been Mo de Pupe, resident fabricant and comment extraordinaire on all things pop culture. And I'll see you guys on the other side of the thread. Peace.